Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and in this video, we're going to be talking about how long a yard is in Diablo Immortal, because you'll come across a lot of different situations in the game like this, where it says increase all damage you deal by 2% for every 2 yards between you and the enemy hit. Things like that that will manipulate how the game is played, so it's important to understand these distances and know how long a yard is in the game, because there's really no option to pull up a grid and really see that laid out in the game. So I decided to go ahead and make a simple graphic to articulate this for you here on the channel. So let's get into it. Alrighty, so I've got this graphic right here that I'll try to remember to link down in the description and the pinned comment and all that if you want to be able to save this and have that for your records. I'll also have it over on the website over at diablopro.gg. I'll get an article out there on the website about how long a yard is and all of that. So definitely keep tabs on the website for different resources and things that are coming to the game. But one thing I want to make sure that I take note of here while we're talking about the yards in games is the isometric view of the game. It kind of tilts the camera. It's not a perfect overhead view that's top down, and it's also not like first person, so the perspective is a little bit warped. You're going to be able to see a lot more towards the top of your screen than you can towards the bottom of the screen, which is why whenever I do like a beginner's tips type of a video or scenario, I always like to mention that when you play a game with an isometric view and you're in like a super important boss fight or something, or you're in PvP, it's an advantage for you to be towards the bottom. It's an advantage for you to be underneath the opponent that you're going against, because you're going to have a better perspective while in that engagement than they will. So like, let's say I'm going to be fighting this this essence transfer merchant right here. I would want to stay towards the bottom, because you see how far I can see them and keep an eye on them. I want to stay at the bottom of that isometric view and be fighting them from below while they are above me, because you can see if I tried to fight them from up above, I barely get away at all and I can't see them. So that is why it gets a little bit weird and a little bit warped based on your current view of the isometric tilt of the camera. But anyway, when we've got something like this where I'm using this this bloody reach gem in my gear, you can see here that a maximum of 8 yards that I want to keep of distance between me and whatever I'm attacking to take full advantage of the gem that I have got socketed. So if we then pull up that graphic that we had here, we can see that the 8 yards would be between like me right here and something that's like right here is kind of the view that I want to keep them at in terms of doing maximum damage to them and getting full potential from the bloody reach. And the way that I went about doing this is pretty simple. I waited until I had an indicator come up in the game. Right here, this 10-yard indicator is showing me the distance to my next objective, which is this door right here. So we've got the 10 yards of my character model right here to my next objective right here. And I was able to use that as an opportunity to grab a screenshot and lay out how long 10 yards is in the game, which is a good place to start, because typically you're not going to be hitting things that are like 25 yards away or anything. So it's good to have that 0 to 10 distance kind of laid out. So going back to that bloody reach example, I would be getting, if my character model is right here, I would be getting the max damage output if they were about right here away, and then I would be getting half damage output if they were about right here away. So that gives you a layout of the distance between you and your opponent, and what you would want to kind of keep as distance in between you to take advantage of something like bloody reach. So then if I were here in game and I were fighting this this merchant right here, and I would want to take full advantage of my bloody reach, that means I would probably want to be about this distance away, kind of running around and staying 8 yards away from my opponent and firing like this to take full advantage. If I get like way out here, that's too far. That'd be like 15 yards. And if I get up in here, this would be a little bit too close. This would be like 3 or 4. This would be like 5 or 6. And then out here is kind of like where I'd want to be to take full advantage of that bonus of the 8 yards. And I can even pull up that trusty tool on the bottom right, and this is kind of like where I think, you know, my enemy right here and me right here, this would be about 8 yards between me and them. But you know, it's hard to get this to be like pixel perfect unless we would get like a grid or an indicator in the game because of the isometric view. But I would say something like that for something like Bloody Reach, that is an 8-yard reach. It would look something like this in game while you're kind of moving around and trying to take advantage of that. And this video kind of got me thinking, you know, I hope we get some clarification on some of these skills. Like, I know for the Demon Hunter, you've got Vengeance here, and it says, you know, gain 3% increased movement speed for each nearby enemy. What's nearby? Is that 2 yards? Is that 5 yards? Is that 10 yards? Like, can we get some clarification on, you know, I noticed when I was preparing for this, there's a lot of situations like this where you've got, you know, and your movement ability, like daring swing, like how many yards am I able to travel as a maximum? I wish it would say, you know, use a rope to swing to a nearby location of up to 10 yards or something. Like I hope we get some of these skills fleshed out with a little bit more robust descriptions on some of these distances in game so that we can really optimize how we are playing and planning our different abilities and builds. So yeah, on the way out, I'll pull this up here for a little bit. And like I said, I'll put that down in the vid description and pin comment if you want to have that. And I posted, you know, things like this on the Discord server, and I'll get an article on the website and all of that. But just a short, sweet video here to lay out the yards in game. And hopefully, for some of you that are curious about some of these distances in the game, this helped you to kind of see it articulated and laid out for you here in the video. So that's going to do it for me on this one. As always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.